Hi guys, so if you've seen one of my recent videos, I've started to make these small little dioramas, basically using up some of the bits that I've got left over, so the good old bits box comes out. And as you can see, nice little size, and they're stackable, which is great. So I'm 3D printing the box, and then obviously incorporating the lights inside. And yeah, loving these little things, and say a great way of having some fun and using up some bits from the bits box. So making the boxes up, putting the lights in, there's a few bits left over. So I might just cut them off, or if I can incorporate them in the back of the dioramas, then I will. So I've got these parts. I can't remember what set I got these from. Literally had these, well, when I first started this channel. So a good 2 years ago, I think I bought these. Never ever used them. Only started gluing some of the bits together a few months ago, but then I didn't actually do anything with it. So yeah, as you can see, just chopping it up to well, a bit of background there. And that's one thing I like about the GW stuff. The plastic is relatively soft and easy to cut, which is pretty good. And obviously these don't need to be clean cuts because this is meant to be some sort of derelict building. Yeah, so the rougher the cut, kind of the better. So the Tyranids, didn't have a box of these, so these are 3D printed on my Anycubic Photon Mono X. Kind of printed out loads, more than I actually needed, but it's always good to have more than you need, I guess. And I got these from Hive Delta over at my mini factory. I'll leave it a link in the description, guys, as this chap or chapess does quite a lot of these sort of xenomorph sort of looking things, which are pretty cool. But these are the ones that I've clicked on and downloaded, and the great thing is they come sort of in parts, so you have the body and the arms separately, so you can obviously sort of make them position of how you want. They're pre-supported, which is awesome, so they come off really well. So yeah, you stick them down. Obviously, I don't want to use too many of them to make a big pile. So I like to use grout in quite a lot of my sort of dioramas. But as you can see, this grout I've had, well, for quite some time, and most of it's starting to go off. But that's fine, as this is just going to be sort of on the ground, and then I'm going to attach and stick loads of these Tyranids over it. So if anything, this stuff's probably better because it will dry really quick, because it's kind of, well, almost half dried already. And then yeah, just a case of I want to build up the bottom layer to make it look like there's a pile of dead bodies. So luckily I've got quite a few leftover arms and heads and bits and pieces. So we'll put loads of those down. And this is obviously the great joy of having a 3D printer. I can just print loads and loads of bits and pieces, which is pretty cool. So quite a lot of the figures I had already kind of like part assembled, as in gluing their arms on and bits. But yeah, now I'm going to cut them off just to make it easier for me to sort of like lay some of these ones down, as these are meant to be dead. Yeah, sort of fallen Tyranids in the big battle. So yeah, that's the whole point of this sort of heap, is to make it look like it is just a load of dead bodies, as well as obviously a few live ones sort of scrambling up over the body to well, to get to the Custode, who's, well, he's not obviously here yet. So whether I've done this the right way or the wrong way, as you can obviously tell, I've kind of glued everything in place, and then it's a case of painting it. I kind of knew that obviously it could be a little bit tricky, and I really do need to invest in an airbrush, just to give that a go. I've never really used the old airbrush or air gun, spray brush, whatever it's called. I can't quite think. But yeah, it probably would have been easier using one of them to get in all the nooks and crannies. So I'm using a fairly small brush to do the old dry brushing, as this is going to be kind of the old slap chop technique here. Yeah, primed in black, and then good old dry brushing with grey, dry brushing with white, and then using some of the contrast paints. But as there's quite a lot to paint, whenever I get lots to paint, I like to use the Green Stuff World dipping inks, just because they come in bigger sort of containers, and are definitely more value for money. So especially when you're doing something larger, having the more sort of contrasty kind of paint is probably best. So yeah, so I'm going with this nice sort of purple look. Had a good old look online, because I've never really painted Tyranids before, so just sort of see what colour they are. And well, like, I think basically you can paint them whatever colour you want, really. But I've gone with the purple just because that's, say, one of the Green Stuff dipping inks that I've got. So definitely plenty of paint to use. And then yeah, again, using the relatively largest brush, getting it on nice and quick, and trying to get in all the nooks and crannies. But the one thing I do like about this, if I can't get into the nook and cranny, doesn't matter too much, because obviously it was primed in black, so it'll just look like a darker area, which is pretty cool. But so I do want to get a spray gun eventually, just because I've never tried one before, and I think it could be quite fun to, well, give it a go. So I'm keeping the painting quite simple on these chaps, just like one bulk colour for the bodies. Obviously, as you can see, using the blue for their well, their sharp, pointy sort of claw-like things, their heads and the back of them. And then, yeah, so this is where possibly I made a little bit of a mistake. Obviously, I thought I'd make it look a bit more bloodied up, so I'm just using some good old, well, blood red, and doing the old bristle technique of just sort of splattering the paint sort of all over the place. But obviously I'm using red. It wasn't until later on I actually Googled what colour blood these sort of things should have. And most people seem to come to the conclusion it should be kind of like a purple or a bluish colour. But hey ho, I've just splattered blood sort of things all over these. So yeah, the old Adeptus Custodes, I had one left over. So Chaos Cards sent me these for me to make up my kill team. So obviously I only needed the 4 for the kill team, which meant I had one left over. And yeah, I thought I'd sort of try and use him straight away, just so, well, just to make fun and have a little diorama. So it went together nice and easy, but unlike the kill team that I made, I am actually using the arms that came with him, just because I want to paint this one up so he does look like the Custodes. If you see my recent video, I made a kill team up with these, but I've given them all power arms just because I want them to be beefy and chunky. And say, because I only play kill team with a mate, it doesn't really matter that they do look a little bit different to how they're meant to look. So yeah, painting wise, again, say unlike my kill team, I'm painting this dude to look more how he should look. So yeah, very simple painting with these guys. They are basically gold, to the extent of everything's pretty much gold, apart from his sort of cape, cloak, and his little plume of, well, not quite feathers, but whatever plume that's coming out the top of his rather weird looking helmet. And there we go. So yeah, very simple, very quick. Had to give him 2 coats of the gold. For some reason the gold that I've got is very watery, so it doesn't matter. Even if you put it onto a white sort of primed miniature, you would still need a couple of coats. But then just to make him look a little bit more sort of grimed up, a bit more battle ready, good old brown wash all over, and yeah, the end result really happy with. So as much as I do love painting now, I do still like keeping some of the techniques and the painting sort of look nice and simple. And yeah, so relatively quick to make this little diorama, but yeah, I love it. I think it looks pretty good. So yeah, on his sword I am now putting a bit of purple, just because obviously that seems to be the main sort of vote of what colour these Tyranids should have. And yeah, there we go, lovely little thing. So this is his last stand. Whether he survives this or not, well, that's down to you to tell your own story, I guess, on that one. So I am looking on Pinterest for ideas of what sort of Warhammer sort of types of little dioramas to make. But guys, yeah, if you've seen any Warhammer images that you think I should have a go at recreating, let me know in the comments. Obviously it needs to be a relatively smallish kind of diorama. As you can see, this is the size that I like, mainly because they are stackable and I can have quite a few of these in a small area, which is pretty cool. So guys, don't forget to share the video if you can, because that helps out the channel so much. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, let me know what you want to see me make next time. Okay guys, that's it. Bye for now.